On the 57th episode of The Local Okie, I am live with Chris Benson of Paynetworx. And this episode is geared towards the medical marijuana industry, dispensaries, CBD, hemp. And so we're going to talk about some different things that they can do in that industry. But before we get into that, if we haven't had the chance to meet, my name is Jimmy Jenkins. I'm the owner of J&J Medicare Solutions, an agency that helps boomers and seniors to understand their options with Medicare. And then also, I'm the host of The Local Okie, which allows me to meet some pretty cool and interesting people like Chris. So Chris, thank you so much for being on The Local Okie. Yeah. And so, Paynetworx, they have several different products that they help different businesses. But right now we're going to talk about how you can help the medical marijuana industry, dispensaries, CBD, and hemp. So I'll let you go into a little explanation of what you do for them.
Great. Well, I appreciate that. Paynetworx is a cloud-based front-end, back-end, and gateway processor.
Okay.
But we also work with some very large third-party processors and third-party banks.
Okay.
And so we have partnered with, and I'll mention two of those today that have been vetted and proved out and done a fantastic job fulfilling the needs that we have had with people requesting processing for medical marijuana, dispensaries, CBD, and hemp. Over the last year, many of the processors and almost all of the banks have stepped out or away from that industry.
Okay.
And a lot of it had to do with simple security and in following regulations and fear of the federal government.
Okay.
But the federal government has laid out some rules and some processes that if you abide by those, it's not that they're letting you, they're approved you to do medical marijuana or they've approved you to do CBD or hemp. They've just simply said, if you're going to do that, basically, this is what you need to do, and these are the rules. So we partnered with and brought in a company called Aqua. Aqua is they would be considered a third-party processor, but they have developed some of the best products in the industry, along with, and especially, I should say, in the dispensary. So they've wrapped up a product that can be used, CBD, if it's just CBD only or hemp, or dispensaries that literally will take a dispensary from just accepting cash to the ability to take debit cards, PIN-based debit, much lower rates, but do that from an accountable POS system that's legal.
Okay.
And with that whole process, we've been able to bring major vendors for legacy cash pickups, which again most don't even want to get involved in.
Right.
With our partners at Aqua, we have now 6 national banks, 29 state banks, and 2 that are about to come on here in Oklahoma.
Okay.
That will assist us and work with us on the legacy program. Legacy cash, by the way, is 90 days. Cash is 90 days old. But then we also have Armored Car Service nationwide that will also do direct cash pickup. And in that process, it's kind of good for the merchant to know when the guys come from company X and they count out, I'm going to hope for all of you, $5 million, and they write you an electronic receipt, and you sign that receipt, money's moved.
Right.
So the merchant's not waiting 3, 5, 10 days to get their money. We're not pulling money out and saying we're only going to give you a portion as a reserve. If we pull $5 million of your money and we deposit it, it's going to be $5 million less a fee. And the fee's based on the merchant size and how often we have to pick up. But that can be astronomical in the savings.
So right now, most of them operate just on a cash basis, right?
Almost all of them.
All of them, okay.
Yeah.
And so what this is doing is transferring it from cash to a bank?
To a bank. So
okay.
it processes through our third party, and then it like a regular debit,
right.
And then it's deposited into that merchant's bank account. One of the things real quick that we've seen is those merchants have a hard time getting a bank account.
Right, absolutely.
And it was very difficult.
Right.
So again, with our 6 national banks and our 29 state banks, unless you've done something so illegal, we're gonna get you a bank account, a real, actual business bank account.
And then So what you do, just so I understand it, is you have an armored car come and pick up this cash. They count it right there on the spot,
Yes.
right in front of them.
Yep.
And then they get a receipt, and that's what goes into this. The money's moved
To the bank.
Gotcha,
We
okay.
actually fund that to the bank.
Gotcha. Okay.
And everything's insured with us in the service. If something happens on the way, it's the merchant gets their money.
Well, that's a much better way of doing it than me having a big wad of cash and okay.
Oh, I could tell stories, horror stories.
Yeah.
Of people that we've come and interviewed or talked with.
Right.
And I'm thinking I'm in their factory because I can smell it. And what it is, it's them opening up the safe and depositing cash.
Right.
One of them had $2 million in cash.
Wow.
Couldn't buy a home because they have no credit.
Right.
So this turns everything around because it's a real bank account.
Right.
I mean, you can apply for a credit card and get one. You can get a debit card. I mean, it's a real bank account.
Okay. And so, people know that most of them don't have their money in the bank, so they're prime targets for that kind of stuff. So this could alleviate, a lot of that.
Yeah.
So.
And I have a personal experience with that.
Oh, really?
I have
Okay.
a son-in-law in California that owns a dispensary.
Okay. Well, tell a quick story.
So the quick story was just that, Dad, can I borrow your gun safe? Yeah. Again, my assumption is he's borrowing my gun safe for his guns. And it was still in my garage 2 weeks later. But I could smell it. And when I opened it up, there was stacks and stacks and stacks of brown bags with dates on them in my
Of money.
safe. Now, he was smart enough to let my wife know, but not me.
Right.
So he had about 30 minutes to get his truck over there and take everything along with the safe. He didn't
Right.
want the safe anymore. And that really touched my heart about what most of these are going through.
Sure.
Because they have no help.
Right.
If you're doing the right thing, the feds are going to leave you alone. I really believe this with all my heart. In the next 2 to 3 years, if not sooner, we're going to see the feds change their minds.
Right. And so right now, Aqua's one of the first to
One of the very first.
first to market.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the next thing that came up about that, and I knew you were going to let you ask your question, but the next thing that came up is, well, Chris, it's only debit. You can only do PIN debit. Well, that's true. But we also have a program that's app-based called the Vault.
Okay.
And the Vault is a true credit card.
Okay.
So in the processing world that we come from, the average ticket's 23 to 30% higher when credit cards can be used.
Gotcha.
So the advantage to the merchant is give you, the customer, more options to pay.
Right.
Still eliminate the cash with your debit card.
Right.
But if you really truly wanted to use your credit card, could you? In our technology, the technology our partner built, enables you to sign up with an app. Picture Uber.
Mm-hmm.
So you draw the app down, the Vault. You load up the payment vehicle you want to use. Right. Your app secure. You take your picture, take your driver's license. We do all what's called KYC, know your customer. We get all the legalities out of the way. Your app goes live. Now I come into your store, and I tell you, I want to pay with my Vault program. I understand. I see your sticker.
Right.
You take Vault. Yes. What's your number, Chris? I give my phone number. The dollar amount is sent to my phone by text. I look at it. Yeah, that's the amount. I accept it. You get a paid ring on your terminal. So I just paid you, and it was live. It was a real transaction.
Awesome.
But I used my credit card.
And that could come. I mean, if they spend 25 to 30% more, and plus people that's actually buying, that could be beneficial to them if they don't have the cash on hand. And,
Yep. Absolutely, and it's a benefit across the board for everybody.
Right.
It works outside of the Aqua program, but it's because it's app based. It's
Okay.
separate.
Okay.
The reconciliation is extremely easy to do, and we obviously help the merchant to do that.
Okay.
And if we can get Aqua, and we were working on 2 other terminals, if we can get them to agree to combine the 2,
Right.
then we will have a program that just won't be touched. So we're always innovating.
So what's the process for someone in that business that runs solely on cash? How do they get started with Aqua?
They're gonna hit the email sales at Paynetworx.
Paynetworx, okay.
And we'll put them in direct relationship with. We have, like here in Oklahoma, we have people that are here.
Okay.
So if I get that in Dallas, I'm going to send that email off to our local representatives that can be on hand.
Okay.
So,
And then how long does that process usually take from sending in an application to implementing the?
so if they have their own bank, so there's really two steps. So if
Okay.
they have their own bank that knows exactly what they're doing, because
Right.
we're going to inform them that's what we're going to do. If they know that and they have that bank, typically it's 2 to 3 weeks as the equipment's ordered and built,
Okay.
because it's not sitting on a shelf, programmed ready to go. Your
Right.
store is going to be much different than somebody else down the street as far as what you sell.
Right.
In the quantity and the type. So we actually work with the merchant. Our team in California works with them to build their inventory. Pictures are added. We customize the website because with the POS terminal, the website's automatically included. So if you
Okay.
have it, yours, we're just going to build a link to it, and then it will look just. You go to the payment page, and there's credit cards, and it's going to look just like yours.
Okay.
If it's a bank, we have
Okay.
to start with the bank. That's typically 4 to 5 weeks.
So if they don't have a bank, you have
We
6
can
banks.
set them up with a bank,
Okay.
and that takes about 4 to 5 weeks.
Okay.
As long as we get all of the documentation that we need and
Right.
what's required legally, then we can get them set up.
Okay.
Again, cash is good, but it's expensive in the concept that for the business, there's no real credit being built for
Right.
the business.
Right.
For the individual, when are you taking your cash? Where are you taking your cash? And you have bodyguards to take you there.
Right.
If they're going to hit a Brinks truck, they're going to hit you eventually
Right.
because they know as your business grows what kind of cash that you have. So we can step in and help. And we really want to steer to that vault program because credit cards are credit cards.
Right.
They're not getting through the process and the tokenization or anything else. So they're gonna see a better program all the way around.
Okay. We have a few minutes left before a live demo, but any other benefits that you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
We really are a one-stop solution.
Okay.
So when it comes to the MMJ world, CBD world, hemp online and retail, there really isn't anybody pushing the kind of volume that we can push.
Okay.
Our pricing is much better. I had an individual ask me 3 times, that's your rate?
Right.
And it's not going to go up in 6 months? Actually, I hope it goes down in 6 months as the banks get used to
Right.
dealing with all of those things. So our rates are typically better, and we have great people that are selling our product
Possibly.
locally. Yeah, possibly some great people selling our products.
And then how do you determine the rate? Based on the amount of
Volume, typically,
okay.
yeah, we have a bottom that we know what that it's going to cost us, and we're pretty much out front. The banks, up until the last 6 months, the banks that take those companies have really taken advantage of
Okay.
the consumers or the merchants themselves, and we're partners again. So this is what my costs are. This is what I need to make to pay everybody and keep my staff going, and it's still a reduction of what you're currently paying
Right.
today. Some of our competition is as high as 7.5% to 8%.
Yeah.
And without doing any backgrounds, any history, typically we'll run at 5.95 and 20. But I have some that are much lower than that.
Right. Okay.
So 2% is a lot of money to the bottom line.
Right. Absolutely. Well, as I drive around the metro, I come across tons and tons of dispensaries, hemps, or CBD shops, and so I know there's a huge opportunity available for
We believe so.
what you have to offer. And again, it seems like people would jump all on it just because of the safety aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And also offering their clients a little more flexibility using the debit, using a credit card, and so.
Yeah, and it's when you add everything that comes with our PAC system. I know we don't have time to go through all of that. Maybe we'll
Right.
do that another time. But the cost of the system, the seed to sale, all of the taxable issues go away. There's so much that goes into a package
Right.
with our program. So
For a lot of the dispensaries that jump on board and get one of these systems in the beginning, they're all looking for ways to differentiate themselves.
Yes.
And so once the word gets out that, at this dispensary I can use my credit card and debit,
that's what we're hoping for. That's
later
what we're
on it's
looking
going to
for.
catch up, but right now, there's a.
Well, I think we shared this before. You're right. It will catch on.
Right.
But from our owner and our third parties owners, they're already envisioning what the laws and regs are going to look like next year at this time. So we'll have new products coming next year,
Sure.
next time, and they'll all work with what we have.
Right.
They'll just be enhancements to what we're currently doing.
Yeah, they're all trying to survive and make it, and this is one way that they can definitely separate themselves. So, again, thank you so much for being on the Local Okie. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Sir,
Thank you.